Hello everyone and welcome back to Johny Reviews. Woo!
Deadpool, Deadpool, Deadpool.
Why hasn't there been any reviews since October 30th? Just 30th. Well, simple. In November, I just didn't get around to making a review. In December, my laptop was shipped away to get repairs, so I wasn't able to do a review of Star Wars or Krampus, both of which are movies that I thought were pretty good. And in January, I had nothing I wanted to review. Like, no movies came out that I wanted to review in January. January was a pretty boring month. I can't even remember any movies. Maybe if I thought hard enough about it, but I cannot think of any movies that came out in January that I really wanted to review, so here we are. Now, there's one more movie I want to review that I'm going to review after this. It's Hail Caesar. I saw that movie. I wanted to do a review of it, but I figured why not bring it back. I wanted to bring back Johny Reviews with a big movie that I knew was going to make a lot of money, and that's Deadpool. This movie is fairly simple. It's a simple premise. Deadpool's trying to kill a bad guy, and hijinks ensue. But you're not really there for the story. No, I don't think anyone came here for the story. But the only thing lacking from this movie, I thought the comedy was great. The action scenes were pretty well done. They had a nice comic booky feel to them. I'll go more into detail on that later, what I mean by comic booky. But yeah, they had it felt like comic booky. I said that 3 times. But the one thing I thought it lacked was the cinematography. It was sort of just blandly shot. I mean, the action scenes had great. They looked great. They had nice cinematography, shot movements, and things like that. But when they got to like dialogue scenes and like comedy scenes that weren't action scenes, they were just kind of boring. The shots, like there was really nothing special to them. They were just kind of bland. I mean, they weren't horrible. Don't get me wrong. They weren't like horrible or anything, but they weren't anything special either. They weren't like Star Wars quality. The recent Star Wars movie had great cinematography in it. But this one, I thought that was one thing that was lacking. If this movie did that well, I probably would have liked it a lot more. But, a lot of people don't care about that. So if you don't care about the cinematography and the shot quality and things like that, you're not really going to care. It's not horrible. It's not like bad filmmaking. It's just sort of bland. Like the cinematography, the pacing is it's fine. It's standard. There's nothing really that sticks out about it. What does stick out is the humor and the action scenes. And in the standout parts of the movie being the humor and the action scenes, if you're not a fan of Deadpool's humor, if you're not a fan of the Deadpool character, you will not like this movie. This movie hinges on the fact that you find that you like the Deadpool character and you like meta humor, fourth wall breaking humor funny. If you don't find that funny, you will hate this. Well, you won't hate it. It's not horrible filmmaking, but you just won't like this movie, and you probably won't get why everyone's going nuts about it. And also, if you came here just to see the action scenes, the action scenes were well done, but there were so few and far between. Like, there are action scenes in the movie, and they are pretty good, but there's actually a lot of dialogue scenes, and they do have jokes spread out within them. That's why I said, if you like the comedy of Deadpool, this movie will be a blast. But there's a lot of dialogue scenes, so if you came here just to see the action, again, you're going to be disappointed. So, the whole movie hinges on the fact that you find Deadpool funny, and, a lot of people do. So, again, this movie will please a lot of people, but if you do not like the Deadpool character, if you don't like those types of jokes, then you won't like the movie. Just saying. The reason I'm being so objective about this and not really showing a lot of, emotions in this review is because I know Christian's definitely going to do a review of this movie, and his review is probably going to be a lot of yelling and saying this movie was perfect or awesome or things like that. So I didn't want us to just have sort of the same review. I wanted us to actually say different things. So that's why I'm doing this more analytical type thing, so Christian can do, a bit more shouting and, saying the movie was good and what the movie did well and things like that. Earlier, I said that the movie had the action scenes had a comic book type feel. The whole movie had a comic book feel. Like, this is one of three comic book movies to ever make me feel like this is a comic book made into a movie. And actually pull that off. Like, things like Batman and Robin, that was a horrible movie. It felt like a comic book movie, but it was horrible, so no one really cared about that. So there are three films that felt like comic books and actually pulled this off. Spider-Man 2, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Deadpool. And it's really nice to have that sort of fun, sort of, comic book sort of feel, the jokiness, not taking itself too seriously movie. So yeah, Deadpool, I really enjoyed it. I've been talking about what, if you like the Deadpool character, if you don't like the Deadpool character, things like that, and also, how the movie felt. But now I'm just going to go into, how I felt about the movie. I really enjoyed this movie. I love the Deadpool character. Probably my third favorite superhero. No, my second, actually. My second. In fact, I think this is my most anticipated superhero movie ever. Mainly because the Avengers, I didn't really care about the Avengers. And Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, but the Spider-Man remakes, the Amazing Spider-Man and 1 and 2, I wasn't looking forward to that much because I didn't really because it was 5 years after the last one had ended, so I wasn't really looking forward to it. And it was made by the same studio. I really didn't have much of a reason to think it was going to be better or worse or anything like that. But this one, I'd say it's the most excited I've been for a comic book movie. There's lots of comic book movies coming out later this year. There's Batman v Superman. I am not looking forward to Batman v Superman. I'm predicting this right now. Batman v Superman will be a fucking a clusterfuck. I will tell you that right now. Oh my god, you can tell from the trailers that it just looks all over the place. It's making the Spider-Man 3 mistake of having too many villains. And the Amazing Spider-Man 2 had too many villains. And now Batman v Superman is going to have too many villains. But anyways, I digress. So I really enjoyed the movie. There was tons of scenes that I was laughing at. There are 3 scenes in particular. I'm not going to spoil what happens in these scenes, but I just wanted to mention them. The opening title sequence. A lot of people have been bringing this up in the opening title sequence. Very rarely does a movie set its tone so well in the beginning, and this movie does it perfectly. The Stan Lee cameo. Stan Lee has a cameo. That's not really a spoiler. That's not a spoiler. I'm sure other people have said that Stan Lee had a cameo in it, and it's not really a big surprise that Stan Lee had a cameo in it. I liked it. I liked the cameo, and I laughed at it, but it was sort of a missed opportunity for me. I felt like it was a missed opportunity. And I can't really go into why. Well, I guess I could, but it's verging on spoiler territory. Maybe I'll. Fuck it. I'm never going to go into this ever again. I'm never going to get the chance to, so I'm just going to go into it now. I wanted Deadpool to actually recognize Stan Lee as Stan Lee. And, say something like, hey, Stan. Even just, saying something like, hey, Stan, and actually recognizing him to be Stan Lee. I wanted that joke to happen, but it didn't happen, and I thought that was a bit of a missed opportunity, but his cameo was still funny nonetheless. And number 3 was the after credits scene. No one has talked about this as far as I'm concerned. I don't know why. Maybe people didn't stay after the credits. There is an after credits scene. I was a bit worried there for a second that there was no after credits scene. There is, and it was worth it. It was definitely worth it. It is a reference to something, so if you don't get the reference, you'll probably it won't be as funny, but if you do get the reference, it'll be hilarious. So yeah, that's Deadpool. If you saw Deadpool, let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Yeah, and I'll see you soon for my review of Hail Caesar. That movie probably has a lot more to go into than Deadpool. But, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.